Hello everybody, Gigi here from GGmadeit.com, coming to you on this wonderful Whip Wednesday with another whip. So, last video was when I had the pleasure of attending a trunk show for Plucky Knitter at Annie and Company in the city, right? Um, and I told you then that my next project would be the Second Avenue, which is a wrap designed by Amy Miller. If you haven't seen it, that is it. It's called Second Avenue, and it is by Amy Miller. It takes 5 colors, and it is the Plucky Primo fingering. So that's what I have on my needles right now. And I was lucky enough to get my hand on some Plucky. And the colors that I'm using is Cantina, which is now on the floor. This is Highland. This is Twill. This is Frond, F-O-R-O-N-D. And this gray is called, I'm going to tell you in a second. Flannel. So those are the 5 colors that I chose. And if you have been a GG fan for a while, you'll know that this is my second Amy Miller pattern. Remember my Spring Fever that I did, what has it been, 2 years now, right? I did this Spring Fever, which is an Amy Miller pattern. This I did with Nice and Knit yarn because I wasn't in a position to get my hands on some Plucky at the time. So this is the Nice and Knit yarn. But this is the Amy Miller pattern. So this one is free, actually, I believe. I'll double check that and I'll put it in the description. But what I love, oh, my baby is snagged. I gotta fix that. What I love about her projects, one, with the multiple colors, the changing of the colors keep you interested, right? So I have to give a shout out to Karen from Do You Knits because she helped me put these colors together, right? I don't know that I would have necessarily put these colors together, but Karen helped me. So that keeps you interested because, as you can see, it's miles and miles and miles of stockinette. And I got a few snugs that I need to go fix. That's what happens when you have a fur baby and they get excited and they jump up. They snug things. But, so, going along this line, I don't remember, I'm assuming that the cast on was the same amount. But the Second Avenue, which is the new pattern, it was on sale. It's full price now. But again, it's going to be a nice lofty. I love a lofty wrap. I love rectangular wraps as well. I just never thought I would be the one to knit them because if you follow me, you know I'm a fat fiber lover, right? I like the big needles. I like the big yarn, right? So this was truly a step outside of my comfort zone. However, the end result is so worth it. This is a piece that I probably wore all winter long, right? Because, you know, it's called Spring Fever because it is done with a fingering weight, so it's light enough for a nice cool spring night. It's lofty enough for you to double it up and really get you some wraparound space if it is really cold out. So you have multiple purposes for it. I am a lover of room, right? Because I will wrap something. I'm always without an umbrella, right? So I will put it over my head and wrap it that way as well. So I'm saying all this and I'm doing all this fiddling with the piece because this is what turns me on to pieces like this. I like versatility. I like that it can be a all season type thing because you can take this and tie it around your waist at the beach. You know, you just have so many functions. It's a must if you travel for trains and planes that are cold this time of year. A must, right? I love the fact that it's multiple colors because, you know, it's going to fit in your wardrobe with ease because you have so many options with the color choice. So that's the Spring Fever, and that's where I first was introduced to Amy Miller. When I become a big girl in knitting, I'm going to do one of her sweaters because she has some wonderful patterns out there. And I can tell you from experience that her instructions are dead on. So very simple to follow. So I just started Second Avenue, I guess one day last week. I cast on these little needles. But this is a 6. And I believe this is a US 6. I got me some new signatures and I got these engraved with my name on it. And signature needles, if you're watching, feel free to make a orange pair of needles for me. I really would love that. I would really love that. I'm looking here because I believe the Spring Fever was on the same size needle, I think. Let me double check, guys. I don't know. It was the Spring Fever a bigger gauge. Give me 2 seconds. Spring Fever was a US 8, so it was a little bigger. The cast on was done with the 6, but the majority of this was done with the 8. So these are smaller needles for the body of this one. What I love about Second Avenue, one is you have 5 colors involved with this, but I love that she breaks up the monotony, if you will, because I'm just starting. So you see, let me pull it up. You have a scalloped edge, so that was new. I love a new technique when I'm doing something, so that was new for me. So you have a scalloped edge, and I believe the other end is a picot bind off, so that gives it a little bit of oomph, a little bit of something different to it. Then you have this section with the small stripes, and I believe the next section that I'm coming to has some kind of texture in it. There's another section that has some kind of lace in it. So although a wrap of this size is an investment in time, I love that she breaks up the monotony, right? On the other end, you have some bigger stripes, and that's where I'm going to use my Cantina because that's the closest to the orange that I love. So it'll be closer to my neck when I put it on. So I'm loving that each panel presents something different, or either every other panel gives you just a little something different. So whether it be stripes, thin stripes, thick stripes, a little bit of lace work, a little bit of texture in there, it kind of breaks up the monotony. To me, it's the perfect summertime knitting because you can throw it in the bag and still be with your friends and work on this and still be a part of the conversation, not come across as being rude or ignoring folks. So this is why I'm excited, and I am a tremendous Amy Miller fan. I love that she gives you something that's simple enough that it will not intimidate most knitters. However, the end result is striking, right? The end result will make people think that you are like this major, you just, you're the bomb. So I'm excited. I did not swatch, but I feel like things like this, the swatch doesn't really matter. Gauge doesn't really matter. I like the material that it's generating on this needle size. So I just kind of cast on and went for it. If I had to complain, can I complain? Listen, casting on over 100 stitches is for the birds. I almost quit with the cast on alone because, I know, I'm sure I told you guys I am team lazy, right? So that's the Whip Wednesday for me. I am trucking along. I need to do 5 inches of this. So I'm pretty much at like the halfway point in that respect. That looks like it's about 2.5 inches. So I have about 2 more inches to go on this part, and then it changes to the navy. And I believe it's not just stockinette at that point. I think that's where some of the texture comes in this next. The other thing about this pattern, if you are looking to give it a try, that I love is that she gives you a what do I want to call it? What do I want to call it? Oh, I'm glad I looked in here. There's an update to the pattern. Yeah, the next section. So the next color that I'm going to be doing is where I'm going to be doing a little bit of a lacy section. And then the section after that, I think it looks like it's going to have some sort of texture to it. So I love that. And what I'm trying to say is the schematic. That's the word I was looking for. There's a schematic in the pattern where you can number your colors, right? So you decide how you want the order your colors go in. And then you go in the schematic and you plop in the color change or the color, whatever number. So 1 through 5, right? And you put it on the schematic and it kind of lets you know where to place the colors. So she kind of does that for you based on the colors that you've chosen, which I love. So yeah, I am super duper pleased with, as I knew I would be. So I'm sure a light steaming with my Conair steamer will have this picot laid down just as lovely. Not the picot, I'm sorry, the scallops laid down for me. And I'm excited, guys. I'm excited. I'm truly enjoying this whip. So the next video is going to be about Wool and the Gang. So I happen to be wearing my Shrug Verdant by Gina from Skein Cocaine. But I used the Wool and the Gang Billie Jean, right? Last year, this was brand new. I was lucky enough that they gifted me some, and I made the cardigan, but I had some left, and I made this shrug, which is one of my favorites. I love the texture on the sleeve. So my next video will be about Tina, which is Wool and the Gang's latest yarn. She is on her way to me as we speak. And of course, I wonder what color I got. But that's it for this week. Out here in these internet streets, I am GGmadeit everywhere.